Okay, good evening everybody. It is Wednesday the 22nd of April and your host tonight is Danny Wells because John Allen is in San Diego with his family, making a holiday out of their trip to Las Vegas with Zoe and Jessica. So you've got me tonight and I've done the success principles number 10, release the brakes. Feel free to chip in anywhere that you like. If you've got examples, if you want to have something to say, just say it and we'll all have a little chat between us. Okay, so everything you want is just outside of your comfort zone. So that is the biggest theme that runs through this chapter. It's quite a short chapter, but the theme that follows it is that you do have to leave your comfort zone to get what you want. In fact, in the shop. Did you get me a ripple? Yeah. Okay, so have you ever been in the car pushing down on the accelerator? This has been recorded. To realise that you had the handbrake on. So did you push down harder on the accelerator? Okay, so has anyone ever done that? Has anyone sat in the car and tried revving up and realised the handbrake's on?
Yeah, I have.
So the car doesn't go anywhere. If the handbrake's on, the car doesn't go anywhere. And it doesn't matter how hard you push down on that accelerator, it still won't go anywhere because the handbrake's on. And then when you take that handbrake off with no extra effort, you started to go faster. Everybody agree with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so most people drive through life with their physiological handbrake on. They hold on to negative images about themselves. They stay in their comfort zone entirely of their own making. They maintain inaccurate beliefs about reality and they hold on to guilt and self-doubt. No matter how hard they try, they can't reach their goals because their handbrake in life is still on. So I really thought about this. I thought really hard about this and it made a lot of truth to me because I did feel like the analogy of trying to drive with your handbrake on is really similar to trying to get through life while holding on to, I'm too fat, I'm too ugly, I don't know how to use the laptop, I'm not smart enough, I'm not this. And for me, you guys can say what your own example is. For me, I'm very quick to say, oh, I can't use technology. I haven't got Instagram because I don't know how to use it. I haven't got Twitter because I don't know how to use it. But instead of saying these things, I've now started saying, at the moment, today, I don't know how to use Twitter, but I'm going to find out and I will start to use it. So rather than me trying to go forward with my handbrake on, I'm taking the handbrake off and saying to myself, yes, I don't know how to do it right now, but I will do it. Has anyone else got any other examples of trying to move with the handbrake still on?
I think generally in life, try it, even when you say you can't do something before you've even tried as well, and that kind of self-doubt in that way. And actually, if you kind of give things a go, I can't think of anything specific off the top of my head, but I know I do it quite regularly. And if you just give it a go, you actually can do more than you think. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, so what do successful people do? So they have discovered that by using increased willpower as the engine to power their success, it's easier to release the brakes by letting go of and replacing their limiting beliefs and changing their self-images. So what it's saying is we need to take the brakes off and we need to let go of our limited beliefs. So if we want to lose weight, instead of saying to ourselves every day, I'm too fat, I like food too much, I eat all the time. Instead of saying these things to ourselves, because what we say to ourselves, we're going to naturally gravitate towards. We need to say to ourselves, I enjoy eating healthy. I'm so lucky that I get to eat healthy. I'm feeling great about myself now that I have toned up a little bit. So rather than putting the images into our head where we're putting ourselves down all the time, so those brakes are still on where if we're saying, I feel fat, I am fat, that's the handbrake still on. We need to release them, get rid of that and move forward without holding on to those thoughts. So we need to basically get out of our comfort zone because by putting ourselves down with the handbrake up, we're in our comfort zone. So we've got to get out of it. So this is what I mean by this is a theme that runs through this chapter. So as you can see in this picture, your aim is in that little orange circle and your comfort zone is far away from it and your current skills are around your comfort zone. So to get to where you want to go, you need to go through your comfort zone, through the skills that you already have, learn some new skills and you'll get to your goal. So think of your comfort zone as a prison that you live in and it consists of I can't, I mustn't, I must not, and other unfounded beliefs that have all been formed from the negative thoughts and the decisions that you have accumulated and reinforced during your lifetime. So we all do this. We all put ourselves down. We all say, I can't do that. I can't use this laptop. I can't be bothered to go and do this. Or if we're late, we'll say, oh, I was late because this happened and that happened. But at the end of the day, we should have just left earlier. So we are in control of our lives, but we spend most of our life in our comfort zone, living in this prison, saying I can't. Was someone going to say something? No. Okay. Oh, this is really interesting. Sue, you'll probably remember this from the book. So it had an example of a baby elephant. So when a baby elephant's born, it is trained at birth to be confined to a really, really small space. So what they do with the elephants when they're born is the trainer will tie a leg around its rope, and it will tie that rope to a wooden post. So because the elephant's so small, it can't go anywhere. So it'll try and move away from the wooden post, but it can't because it's so small and the post is mightier than the elephant. But as it gets bigger, we all know how big elephants are. It could easily snap that rope, but it won't, because it's trained in its head that its space is the space of the distance of the rope. It won't try and go anywhere. And I had a look on Google to see if this is real, because it says it in the book, and it is, and they do this. And that's the same as what we do. We are trained to be a certain distance from our comfort zone, and every time we try and leave that comfort zone, we are pulled back in. So the same as the elephants. So there are 3 ways to change. Okay, so number 1, we need to use affirmations and self-talk what we want. Number 2 is we need to create powerful new images of having done what we want. And 3, we need to change our behaviour. So what we need to do is stop recreating the same experience over and over and over. So I'm just going to use my example again of the technology situation, because I do have a bit of a problem with technology. Don't really know what I'm doing. I get really easily frustrated. I get to the point I'm like, I want to throw the bloody laptop out the window, and I get so annoyed. But I reaffirm this to myself. I tell myself I'm no good with technology and I don't know how to use these apps, and I reaffirm that to myself. So my brain is thinking, well, she's told us that she doesn't know how to use technology, so we're just going to keep recreating that. So I'm recreating this circle in my life about technology. So I've decided, as of this chapter today, that I am not going to say that anymore. So from now on, I'm going to say, I'm not quite sure how to use that piece of technology yet, i.e. Instagram, but I'm going to learn. And each day I'm going to learn more about how to use Instagram. And the images in my head, I'm going to put into my head, are me using the technology and knowing exactly what I'm talking about. So it's just about changing how you feel. So the situation is still the same. I still don't know what I'm doing, but it's changing how you feel about it, which will lead you down a different path. Did anyone else have any other examples about recreating the same experience over and over?
My memory.
Yeah, go on then, Nikki.
I don't know. How do I use affirmations to change that?
You could maybe say, I'm so grateful that my memory is better than someone with Alzheimer's.
Just.
It's trying to look on the bright side, isn't it?
I'm so grateful that my memory is getting better every day.
That's a good one, Sue.
Okay, I'm going to write that down and we'll work on it.
Yeah, okay. So mine is, so between now and next week, I'm going to work on my technical abilities and my app. So Nick is going to work on her memory. What's everyone else going to work on? Sam, what are you going to work on?
Building up my confidence to take more of a lead.
All right, good one. Sue?
I could do the apps thing. I've been on LinkedIn and Twitter for about a year and I've not really done much with them at all. I'm hoping to learn from you.
I'm hoping to learn from someone else. Leah?
I think it's going to be talking to people face to face.
Yeah.
Tend to hide behind. So,
Amy, did you want to say one?
Mine's exactly the same as Leah's. My biggest downfall at the moment.
Okay. I won't pull anyone else because everyone else is on silent. I won't pick anyone else. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay. Oh, gone too far. I'm just got to move the icons. Okay. So you are never stuck. You just keep recreating the same experience over and over by thinking the same thoughts, maintaining the same beliefs, speaking the same words, and doing the same thing. So this again is exactly the same what I keep doing to myself, saying that I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. So this is a great picture that it took me ages to find this on Google. You know, I've already seen this picture before, so I went on Google and I typed in donkey and plastic chair, and all that came up was donkeys with their heads in plastic chairs. I was like, oh my god, why would people take pictures of these? Yeah, it's a horse. That's why I couldn't find it, because I thought it was a donkey that was on it. So it took me ages to find this picture, but this was exactly what I thought of when I read the book, because obviously, as you can see there, that horse has got limiting beliefs about what's going on. It can quite clearly move away. That plastic chair doesn't weigh more than a feather, but it thinks it's stuck there because of its beliefs. That's the same as us. We can be NVPs. We can be what we want, and the only reason that we're not where we want to be is because of our beliefs. Okay,
so dog training this week. Instead of using the lead, we put a bootlace under the collar and then walk with it. Because it's really light, they don't feel it there, and then you just slip the lace out and they don't notice, and they just carry on walking to the field. Exactly the same thing.
Wow, that's really interesting too.
So we all need a bootlace.
Okay, so this is your vicious cycle. So our self-image is how we see ourselves, and then what happens is we have our self-talk. So it's what we tell ourselves. So let's say I say to myself, I've not been a very good mum today. I've shouted at the kids. And then that's how I see myself. I'm not a very good mum. I've shouted at the kids. And then my self-talk will be, I shouldn't have shouted at the kids. I'm going to have affected them for the rest of their life. They're going to remember. And that's my self-talk. And then my belief system then is how I think. So, from now on, I'm always going to be a terrible mum. So I would just go round and round in circles. Whereas breaking the cycle would be, okay, I shouted at the kids today. I shouldn't have done that. I should have calmed down before I asked them for the 10th time not to pull each other's hair or whatever it may be, and broke the cycle that way. So instead of reaffirming this, I'm a terrible mum, I should have said to myself, I did do something that I shouldn't have done. This is what I ought to have done, but I've learned from it. So it's breaking that cycle rather than just going round and round in circles. Okay. So as long as you keep complaining about your present circumstances, that is all that your mind will focus on. So by continuing talking about and thinking about and writing about the way that things are, you are continually reinforcing those very same neural pathways in your brain that got you where you are today. So what that's saying is, if something happens, so let's say me and Ian have had a row, and all I do is talk about it. So I'm on the Zoom, I say, me and Ian had a row, it's really annoying me because he didn't wash up, and then I text all my friends, and all my energy is consumed by telling everybody about me and Ian having this row. That is all that I'd be focused on, and that is all that my brain would keep reminding me of. Whereas if I just let it go and said, it would be nice if you just washed up, or left it at that, and then I focus my brain on something else, then I won't keep going around in a circle. So we only have a couple of hours a day of energy to use on our thoughts. So every day we do our jobs and look after the kids and we do our housework. We probably have about 2 hours a day of just thoughts to focus on. So think about this tomorrow. What are your main thoughts focused on? Is it about a friend that's upset you, that's done you wrong? Is it about a family member that's upset you? Is it about something that's upset you in your business? What are you mainly focusing on? Because if you're mainly focusing on the negative things, you're going to be consuming a lot of energy over a situation that you can't change. So you need to use your energy to focus on the positive in that. So you need to take that negative situation and say, okay, this is what I've learned from it, where I need to change. I need to communicate more. I need to alter what I'm doing here, and let other people know that. But let other people know that in the positive light. Don't keep bragging on about what it is that's annoyed you. I'm just as guilty for it. I'm as guilty as saying, oh, this really annoyed me. Just let it go and say, from that situation I've learned that I need to communicate more effectively, or from that situation I've learned this, and focus on the positive of it. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so the problems that we face, they can't be solved by the same level of thinking that created them. So we all have... Hang on a minute, guys.
okay, Nikki? I hope Ivana's all right. Has Danny gone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Ivana just dropped something. She's okay.
Oh, fine. Okay, that's what we
I was
were
worried.
thinking.
Yeah, I know, but she's just dropped something that smashed. So, okay, Ian's with her. So, what is your financial temperature? Okay. So your comfort zone works the same way as the thermostat in your house works. So when the temperature in the room approaches the edge of the thermal range you have set, the thermostat sends signals to turn the aircon off or on. So if you've set your house thermometer to be at 20 degrees, as soon as the air temperature drops, the aircon will come on and make the house warmer. When the air in your house goes above 20 degrees, the aircon will turn on and make your house cooler. Everybody understands that, right? Yeah. So we have this in our body. So what happens is every single person has got a psychological thermostat in our body, and it regulates our level of performance. So as our behaviour begins to approach the edge of our comfort zone, you begin to feel uncomfortable. So your body will send signals of mental tension and physical discomfort to your system, and to avoid the discomfort, you will unconsciously pull yourself back into your comfort zone. So an example of this is I get really nervous of public speaking. And this time last year, I'd never in a million years stood on stage and spoke to anybody. When I got asked to do my why, it was in front of 10 people, and they were all my friends, so it wasn't a lot of people. But I felt really nervous because I was stepping out of my comfort zone. So my internal thermostat was pulling me back to say, you feel uncomfortable, you feel nervous, you're sweating, your heart's racing. Just leave the room and don't do it. Just run away. So if I'd listened to my internal thermostat, I would have just left it and missed out on that opportunity. But because I recognise that, yes, I do feel nervous and it's normal to feel nervous, but what I'm going to gain out of this is going to build my confidence. It's worth the nervousness. So I stepped away from my comfort zone, I got up and I spoke to all these people. Now from that incident, it has led now to me still feeling nervous every time I speak to people, but now I can speak in front of hundreds of people, which I definitely wouldn't have done had I not done that first bit. Like Leah's Zoom a couple of weeks ago when she said chunk it down. So start off small and build up. But for us to start off small and build up, we need to be aware that we're going to have this internal thermostat in our body that's screaming at us to come back to the comfort zone because you're feeling nervous, you're feeling anxious, you're sweating. Don't do that, because it doesn't like it when we feel uncomfortable. But if we listen to our internal thermostat, we will never ever go further afield. And a person that isn't I can't think what they say, a person that isn't working towards their goal, you basically, I want to say dead, but I don't think that's the right word. You're basically not doing anything. You're not living a life that you should be doing. So you need to appreciate that, yes, you've got this internal thermostat and it is going to pull you, but you need to just keep going as far away from your comfort zone as you possibly can do, and then do what Leah says, chunk it down each time, just get better and better and better at it. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah.
It's really similar as well to relationships. So if you are somebody that's always in a really bad relationship all the time, it's because of your internal thermostat. So you are accepting the behavior of somebody that is giving you the bad relationship. So yes, it's that person's fault for being that way, but also it's your fault as well for allowing what is happening to you and not getting away from it. So your internal thermostat is going to keep pulling you to those situations, but you need to step away from it and accept that, yes, it's going to be difficult, yes, it's going to be hard, but this is not life. It's not life living around your internal thermostat. That is not life. So a bit like that horse being tied to that chair, he needs to leave his comfort zone to get away from that chair. That's no life, just being stuck to a chair with a rope. You need to pull away, and that's what we need to do. We need to pull away and accept that we are always going to have this internal thermostat. No matter what we do, we will always have it, and we will always feel uneasy, always feel uncomfortable. But it's there. It's just something we have to live with. Okay, so comfort zone with money and debt. So this works the same as well with people. People have an internal thermostat that is around their money and their debt. So my internal thermostat is I'm quite comfortable being in my overdraft. Since I was about 18, I've always had an overdraft, and I do not see any problem with being £2,000 in debt. But Ian is somebody that hates being in debt. Even if he is like £10 in his overdraft, he feels uncomfortable, he feels sweaty, he feels anxious. Well, you know. And he doesn't like it. And we all have our own comfort zone. So you need to think to yourself, what is your financial temperature? Are you the sort of person that needs to have £3,000 in your bank account? Anything below that you feel uncomfortable? Are you the sort of person that needs to have say £50 in your bank account, or you feel uncomfortable? So everybody will know what amount of money in their bank makes them feel easy, and then what amount of money makes them feel uncomfortable. So again, this is linking it to that internal thermostat. So some people have that internal thermostat set to be comfortable with no debt. They hate to see their overdraft, whereas others have it set comfortably with an overdraft well into minus 3,000, I suppose to say. So a minute. So if the former person had an overdraft of £3,000, so let's just say for me, I have an overdraft to say £3,000, and I wasn't in it. So yeah, so say that I've got a £3,000 overdraft, but in my bank account, I'm on zero. And then all of a sudden, I'm now £100 into my overdraft. But my thermostat was set at zero. So my thermostat's set at zero. So if I go over zero into my overdraft, I feel uncomfortable. Even though I've got a £3,000 overdraft and I'm only £100 in it, my internal thermostat is screaming at me. What I would do is I would work heaven and earth to get that £100 back. Whereas the next person might come along and say, well, it's £100 in your overdraft, you know, you just pay that back as time goes on. But my thermostat is screaming at me, oh my God, you're £100 over the comfort zone, get that back. People will work really hard to get that back. And it's got a few really good examples in the book about this with money. Does this relate to everybody?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is the same with lottery winners. So people win the lottery and then they're notorious for losing their winnings because they failed to develop the millionaire mindset. So somebody that's not used to having any money, their thermostat might be set at having say £1,000 in the bank account. They suddenly win millions of pounds, but they will lose it all. And the reason why they'll lose it all is because of their thermostat is set at a particular amount of money, and their mind hasn't been developed to change and to learn how to pull away from that thermostat, because the thermostat is pulling you and your mind wants to say, no, you know, we've got this money, let's be sensible. But your thermostat is saying, no, we can't cope with all this money, and it's screaming, it's going crazy, and all the money will just be gone. So that's what happens with lottery winners that haven't developed that mindset. Whereas you'll find that entrepreneurs start with nothing, and then especially in network marketing, we get our first paycheck that might be £12, and we are so enormously grateful for that small amount of money because of the way our mindset is. We know we've had to step away from our thermostat, that we appreciate this small amount of money, and each month that money grows. We've had an extra month of growth in our head. So our income is related to the growth that we're having in our head and our mindset. So our income is proportionate to our mindset. Whereas lottery winners make nothing to millions of pounds in a day, and their mindset just isn't there. Whereas with network marketing and any business that you grow from scratch, each month you're growing as a person and your income's growing. So your thermostat's going to level out with where you want to be. Okay, so one way to stretch your comfort zone is to bombard your subconscious mind with new thoughts and images. So imagine you've got a big bank account, you've got a healthy body, you've got an exciting work career, you've got interesting friends. Imagine your goals are already complete, and this is called affirmations. And what affirmations do is they tell your brain what images that you have already achieved. So visually, you imagine you've already achieved that what Mercedes. So your brain will naturally work to bridge the gap between not having the Mercedes and having it, because you've told your brain you've got the Mercedes. Yeah, it's not on your front door, so it knows that you haven't, but in your head you have. So your brain will naturally pull you into that direction. So you guys might have already felt this. If you've already set yourself a goal to do DM or to do any goal, and you wake up one morning and you can't be bothered, but your body is being pulled to do it, that's because of the affirmations in your head, and your brain is going to pull you to do it. So I've got up sometimes, I thought, I can't really be bothered to do a Zoom or a Blaze. But because I've set myself a goal, my brain will naturally pull me to it, and I can feel the pull of it. So there are 9 guidelines for creating effective affirmations. So number 1, we need to start with the words that I am. So it is so powerful that the subconscious takes any sentence that starts with the words I am and it interprets it as a command. So like, I am now driving my white Mercedes, things like that. Number 2, use the present tense. So describe what you want as though you already have it. So I am enjoying driving my new white Mercedes. So number 3, state it in the positive and affirm what you want, not what you don't want. So don't tell your brain what you don't want, because the statement "don't slam the door" will be picked up in the brain as "slam the door." The unconscious brain thinks in pictures, so it will just see a door slamming. So saying "I am no longer afraid of flying" will send a picture of being afraid of flying into your brain. You need to change it to "I am enjoying the thrill of flying." Number 4, keep it brief. Think of your affirmation like an advert jingle. It needs to be short enough to be memorable. Number 5, make it specific. Vague affirmations produce vague results. Number 6, include an action word ending with ing, so ing, and it will add power to the effect by evoking an image of doing it right now. So I am confidently expressing myself openly and honestly. So it just tells your brain that this is what's happening. Number 7, include at least one dynamic emotion or feeling word. So include the emotional state that you would be feeling if you had already achieved your goal. So some examples of words to use are enjoying, joyfully, happily, celebrating, proudly, calmly, peacefully, delighted, triumphant. So use these words in your affirmation because it'll be much more powerful. Okay, number 8, make them for yourself and not for others. So don't make affirmations about other people. This is only about you. So they must reflect your behaviour. So one that you can't use is saying something like, I am watching Johnny clean up his room. So you can't say that because that's based on what somebody else is doing. So what would be better would be, I am effectively communicating my needs and desires to Johnny. So now it's the same thing that you want to happen, but it's all about you and not the other person. Okay, last but not least, number 9, add something better. For example, I am enjoying living in my beautiful beachfront villa on the coast on Maui, or somewhere better. Okay, a simple way to create affirmations is visualize what you would like to create. Number 2, hear the sounds that you would hear if you'd already achieved it. So let's just use the example of Maui. We all want to be an MVP going to Maui every January. So we need to visualize being on the beach in Maui in Hawaii. Then we need to hear the sounds of the sea, hear those trees all waving around. Number 3, we need to feel what it would feel like to be there. So we're sat on the beach. How do we feel? You know, on the white sand. We've got Stuart Armfield walking past his Speedos, and we've got drinks galore. How does it feel? We've got to think about, we've got to really visualise how it feels to be in Maui. Number 4, describe what you're experiencing sorry, my spelling's terrible on this. What you're experiencing in a brief statement. So again, we're sat on the beach with our team. We're so proud of ourselves. We're talking about where we were 3-4 years ago, sitting on Zoom on the sofa, and now here we are in beautiful Maui. And number 5, if necessary, edit your affirmations to make it meet all of the above guidelines. Okay, so how to use affirmations. So we need to say them 3 times a day, guys. Morning, lunch, and bedtime. 3 times a day at least. Read each one out loud. Close your eyes and visualize it as already happened. So close your eyes and visualize you're on that beach in Maui if that is one of your goals. We need to hear the sounds that we would hear if it had already happened. Feel what it would feel like if it had already happened, and say it again. Repeat it, and do this for every affirmation. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. Okay, other ways to use affirmations. You can post them on small cards and put them around the house. You can hang pictures of what you want around the house. Repeat affirmations while you're waiting for anything. If you're stuck in a queue and you want to repeat your affirmations, if you can do it out loud, great, and no one's around. If people are around, just say it in your head. If you're driving, do it then. If you're in the shower, anywhere you can, just repeat them, repeat them. Record your affirmations and listen to the recording when you can, especially while you're sleeping. Just put it on loop over and over again. Put it on SoundCloud. Have someone that you want to make really proud of you record how they would speak about you had you achieved your goal. So I've got a friend who doesn't do Arbonne. She uses a product, but she doesn't do Arbonne. And she is somebody that I want to make so proud, and she's been great at this. So I've asked her to record a little speech about how she's going to talk about me when I get to MVP and everything that she's witnessed me going through and my tenacity and my perseverance. And I listened to that over and over again. And also I've written a letter from my children that obviously I wrote, they didn't write it, but what they would write for me in 5 to 10 years time, talking about the decisions that I made when they were little and how that's impacted on their lives. And that's on my vision board, but we're going to come to in a minute. So that's really powerful for me because it's really important for me how my children perceive me about what I'm doing now and how I'm helping their future. Put your affirmations on the screensaver. So here's my vision board. So in the middle here is the letter from the children, and that's really powerful for me. Okay, so you've got homework here. So the goal for next week is make a start on your first vision board if you haven't already done one. So you can add to it and change it as time goes on, but make a start on your vision board with things that you would like and want to do. So next Wednesday, you're going to make a start looking at people's vision boards. If you've already done it, great, we can see it next week. If you feel like you want to spend a lot of time doing your vision board, that's fine, but make a start on it. So start getting the house that you want, the picture of the house that you want, the holiday that you want, the clothes that you want to wear, the places you want to go. Make a start on it. So if next Wednesday everybody can at least just show either a couple of photos of what they're going to put on their vision board or their completed vision board, that's next Wednesday. So I'll remind you all on Facebook again at the weekend. Everybody's going to have a start on their vision board to show us all.
Danny, what do you use to, do you do it on your iPad?
Yeah, I used picture collage.
Okay.
Yeah, and then put it all together. Okay, so to sum up, this is the last bit now. Just move the icons. So we need to take the brakes off. We need to leave the negative thoughts behind. Anything that won't help you get to where you want, leave it with the handbrake. So there is no point me wanging on about not being able to use technology. Me saying I can't use technology is not going to get me anywhere. It's just going to make my brain believe that even more. So we're going to leave that behind today. As of today, that's being left behind. We need to focus our time and our effort only on what you do want and how to get there. We are no longer spending any time on excuses or buts or ifs or should-haves, etc. We only have a few hours a day to use our energy on building our future. So how much percent are you going to use towards going forwards, and how much energy are you going to put into trying to drive your car forward with the handbrake on? So let's say we've all got 2 hours a day to work on our future. We're going to spend 60% of that time each day moaning about what we could have done, making excuses, or we're going to actually be really productive and use those 2 hours to take the handbrake off and actually go forwards. All right, that's everything. Did anyone else have anything to add to it?
I might add something if that's all right.
Yes, it is. Samantha.
I mean, that's fantastic. Like, I think the thermostat thing with regards to like going outside of your comfort zone, I think that's fascinating because obviously being in like mental health and that, we deal a lot with like anxiety and things. So if you've got something you're afraid of or something you're fearful of, if you actually do it to some extent, whether it's something like a small version of it, if you do a little bit of what you're afraid of and then build that up with time, your resilience towards that actually grows. So with regards to the thermostat, I think that's brilliant because that's exactly like what we do with therapists with anxiety, which is just a fear, isn't it, at the end of the day? So yeah, I thought that was really, really good.
It was.
Leah?
Yeah.
Everyone's got something to say.
Well, I just completely agree with Sam. I think for me, daily, I push myself to do something that I don't want to do, following the Eat That Frog thing. But having said that, I think, you know, you can always do more. So if I'm, say, talking to one person that I've not spoken to before about network marketing, and afterwards I feel great and that, yeah, I've done it, it's like, okay, well, next step, talk to 2 people, or go back to them, or sometimes I just talk to them and I don't actually ask them if they're interested. And I think afterwards, I think, well, it's no good just telling them about it, do you know what I mean? I need to ask them if it's something that they might be interested in doing, and it's just working on things like that. But I don't feel comfortable with, because I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to approach it sometimes. So, yeah, that's my complication.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's easier if you pretend that you're doing it on behalf of somebody else. Something yesterday, because the first time it happened to me was my hygienist, who I'd spoken to 6 months before, and she said she dealt with Fiona. And then when I went back a couple of weeks ago, she was asking me loads and loads of questions. And I felt totally comfortable because I was telling her, not for myself, if you like. And as a result of all that, she actually then joined Fiona. And yesterday, a similar thing. We were at the Blaze at Ball, and the girl on reception came in, saying, "Oh, what is it exactly you do?" Blah blah blah. And I knew that one of the girls had spoken to her. So because I wasn't doing it for me, I spent about 15 minutes quite happily chatting to her, telling her all about it, because there wasn't any pressure on me. So I don't know whether there's a way that you can kind of just imagine that you're actually doing it for your twin sister or something rather than yourself.
I think that's really a really good point, Sue, because that'll be your internal thermostat. So when you're talking to somebody for you, your internal thermostat is screaming at you and pulling. But if somebody said to you, "Oh, what is it that Jennifer Houghton does?" You know in your head how great Jennifer is. So you'll be like, "Oh, she does this amazing thing," and you'd be telling her, because it's not you that's leaving your comfort zone. You're not having to expose yourself, and that's what I think you're describing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that from now on. I'm just going to pretend I'm telling it on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like a light bulb moment there. So.
Nikki, what do you think?
Can't remember. Right at this present time, my memory is failing me, but I'm sure that in moments to come it might come back.
Did you guys hear what Nikki said to Dr. Peter Matravis?
I'm trying to think.
Tell him then, Nikki.
So he was sat down and we were talking to somebody near him, and I was like, "I'm going to talk to that man. I'm going to talk to that man."
There you go.
So I went up to him. I said, "Peter, can I ask you a quick question, please?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "So have you heard about this vitamin B12 deficiency and it affecting memory loss?" And he went, "Yes." And then he said, "Blah, blah, blah," because it was all really technical and I didn't understand most of it. But in a nutshell, the response was, "It's very rare that it would impact and highly unlikely." So I was like, "Oh, right. So it's not vitamin B12 that's given me a bad memory." And thanked him and moved on. Oh, no, I did ask what products the vitamin B12 was in. And he said sleep spray and vitamins, I think. I can't remember now. Oh dear, I said it again.
It will come to me. Don't you mean, Nikki? It will come to me.
Yeah. It will come to me. Oh, that's a good one, Natalie.
Yeah. So from now on, nobody let Nikki say, "I can't remember." It will come to me.
The minute
And if
you
I
say
forget
that,
to say
your
it,
brain
it
just
comes
goes.
to my
No, you're fine, Nikki. The minute you say that, your brain just goes, "Ah!" I used a really, really good memory, and then as I've got older, it's got a bit worse, and I think it's still not bad compared to some. But at work, in a work situation, when I'd got perhaps two directors coming at me out of the blue saying, "I need," and my brain used to sort of want to go, and you have to stop it from doing that and think, "I will remember, I can do this," because otherwise your brain just seizes totally. Yeah, so stop it when you've got a bad memory and just think, "I will remember this."
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
So between now and next week, we're going to try and ignore our internal thermostat, and push through it anyway. And then we're all going to put together pictures for our vision boards. If not, have made our vision boards. Yes?
Yeah.
Who's doing next week? Does anyone know?
Not been decided yet.
No.
Does anyone want to volunteer? It's chapter 11. See what you want, get what you see. I'll see how long it is. It's an average size chapter. It's not a short one. It's just average size. So see what you want, get what you see. Who wants to do that one? Anyone? Any takers? Do you want to have a go at doing one?
Who are you asking?
Yeah.
Ian?
No,
Hey.
you.
Yeah, I can do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
you want to do next Wednesdays then, yeah?
Yep. Right.
Okay, so number 11, look. Principle 11.
Yeah.
And you need to check that everyone's done their vision boards as well when you start.
Oh, okay. Well, you can start, and I'll just do this bit.
Yeah.
You can do the housekeeping and the bullying.
Yeah, John will probably do it. Yeah, I'll be on it anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Thanks for a good swim, guys.
Thanks very much, Danny.
Danny,
Yeah.
you know the presentation, does that go somewhere?
What presentation?
PowerPoint.
The one I've just done?
Yeah.
It's just on my computer. Why, would you like it?
Yes, please. I didn't get everything.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.